Well, good morning, Orkin Pros. We are back.
We're back again.
Commercial, May results, round 2.
Love it. Looking forward to it.
We did the broadcast this morning. We thought it was pretty good, right?
I was excited.
Hopefully we can replicate it. Usually this is our better broadcast.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I just jinxed us.
No, yeah, you probably jinxed it. Let's see who's on board here.
Well, while he's doing that, in the chat, post up your favorite 4th of July activity that you do to kind of celebrate the 4th, or maybe it's even just the food that you eat. I'll give you mine. We all gather, the Donahue clan gathers up in Lake Erie, and Victor, we have all these other cabins around us. There's like
you make it sound like the Beverly Hillbillies get together, like the Klan.
Well, it's kind of like that.
Is that what goes on?
But
there's a little moonshine joke.
There might be some moonshine, but not me. But there's like 17 cabins, so all the kids get together, and we do like the old-fashioned races. Yeah. The 3-legged, burlap sack race.
Yep.
Carrying the egg on the spoon, water balloon tosses, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's traditional.
And it's really cool. One of the guys can really sing. He marches all the kids to kind of kick off the festivities.
Pied Piper style.
He's the Pied Piper style up to the flag. They raise the flag and they sing the national anthem and they say the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's awesome.
It's super cool. So I so look forward to that. That's awesome. My wife could care less she cares that the kids come home for Christmas and all that, but she wants everybody, all the Donahue kids will be in Madison, Ohio on Lake Erie for the 4th of July. That's her date. How about you?
I'll be in the Philippines sipping mimosa on the beach between speeches, and so it'll be great. It'll be fun, and let me see, what do we got going on here?
Look at Gordon Miller. Somebody's saying they're going to sit around and watch Victor videos. Come on.
Whoever said that, I love you for that. What's jorts?
Jorts are those things, they've outlawed them.
What are jorts?
Those darts that had the metal ends.
The ones you throw up in the air, they come down?
They used to be really thin.
Really?
I don't think they make them that way
No,
anymore.
he said it's jean shorts.
Oh, jorts. Oh.
So
that's jorts. Right?
I don't know.
You remember that game?
I remember the game, but I don't know if it's jorts. I don't know.
Jorts or jean shorts?
Anyway.
Who put that in there?
I don't know, man. Apparently some people have issues today.
And Dave Broadstone, beer is certainly an acceptable example.
Let me see. Water slides, fireworks, always in effect. So, who's out there? What is up with Monique Gomez? She looked like she has like a Jurassic Park background or something.
I didn't see that.
Like a dinosaur to come
there you go.
Background and do something weird.
Look at the twins sitting there, Mark McConnell and Dawn, sitting next to each other. You see that?
They look cool.
Now they're giving us some signs. I see Dave Henry out there, our newest national account rep. There's Michelle Stuckstead.
I can't read that. Is that Todd Ritter with a cool blue cup just sipping there in the corner, like somebody stuck him there? Like it's got.
And there, of course,
Star Wars, really, man? Star Wars cup.
Nice.
By the way, will you grow up and send me the cup?
Oh, you want it?
Oh, I want it, actually. Yeah, I was like.
And, of course, our favorite name in sales is here. B. Sellers is here.
BS himself.
Brian Sellers is there.
The Seller Man. Yeah.
Outstanding.
I love it, man. Who else is here, man?
Outstanding. There's Reed, man. West Coast is repping up here, man. This is their broadcast. They are all over this thing.
David Rittenhouse is just leaning back. Just
even their fearless leader, Mr. Beauvais, on here.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Let me see, Krista Cook is looking kind of serious. She looks like she's about to take off like a helicopter thing. Right now we are roger that.
We get a little Michigan representation here.
Yeah, love it.
We got Nikki on her phone, Nikki's iPhone. Okay, cool. Hayden Holmes is hanging out. Bobby Bundles, man, wow. This is awesome.
I'm trying to get this guy going, but he's just not listening right now.
We got to get going, don't we? We got to quit chatting. Quit chatting. So let's get into the broadcast and kind of share some takeaways. I mentioned in the first broadcast that we brought all the RSMs together last week out in Vegas. A lot of these folks that are on this call experienced that, and it was just a really cool event to bring them all together. We didn't bring anybody from the home office in. We didn't bring any big cheeses.
Why did you excuse them?
Because we wanted these folks to work on their game and share best practices.
Gotcha.
So that's what we did for really.
Were you creating a safe space?
We did create a safe. I might have even mentioned.
I just been wanting to use that phrase.
I don't think I said safe space, but I said we can be completely transparent. And just great results coming out of there.
Very cool.
The biggest takeaway I had from that thing, other than these folks are really starting to get along and really kind of interact and intertwine themselves with each other, is Jesse Reddington. Jesse the Beard.
Jesse the Beard Reddington.
Remember him? We see him on the broadcast, and he's the guy that sticks out because he's a call center manager, so he doesn't have to shave like we all do.
What did he do?
He got up and gave a presentation, and he said something. He said, people say all the time that they have to do things. We have to have a huddle. We're going to have a huddle. We have to have a huddle. They do these little huddles where they pull their teams together for short little bursts to keep them in contact. And he turned that around. I don't know if anybody else, if you saw that in the chat, or in the chat, just put it, that was one of your takeaways if you're an RSM. He said, we don't have to, Victor. We get to.
Sweet.
We get to do stuff. We don't have to do stuff. We get to do stuff. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. Wow. You know, I get to do this broadcast this morning. I don't have to do this.
Jesse,
I get to do this.
So we should call him like the Beard of Wisdom or something.
Maybe we'll have him change his screen name to that.
Very
so
cool.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
You think about all the tasks that you have to do, and you know, you're asked, you get to do these things.
What were some of the issues that came up that you said, you know, these are some of the things we have to tackle all the time?
So as we've mentioned before on our last broadcast, really we've had a tough time retaining folks, both technicians and some salespeople, particularly commercial ones, over the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
And the big push was on retention, you know, and we've had some dramatic results. It's early, you know, we're 5 months in, but the numbers look better.
Right. Can you share a percentage yet? Or
I think it's too early to kind of do that.
Okay.
But I think what I want to share is that we had a lot of folks kicking those retention things away.
Okay.
How do we hire? How do we keep them? And that's what a lot of the small group stuff was. And you know, the RSM presenting the stuff that's working in their turf. You know, campaign management and things like that.
At least there's an awareness now that it's a priority. So I think that's pretty cool. Because that was, again, we're in Shreveport. That was a big, Pat was like, you know.
It's a big thing for the company. There is no doubt about that. But other than that, you know, we're off to a pretty good start. Why don't I just share May's commercial results? Sure. Because I think these are pretty solid. And when we look at, you know, the commercial business as a whole, for the last 3 or 4 years, it's growing double digits without question. You know, double digit growth for the past 3 or 4 years. And we maintained that in May. So the month of May by itself, standing by itself, local commercial sales were up 19%, Victor. Nice. 19% year-over-year increase. And be mindful of the fact that, you know, we're not rolling up on one that wasn't good last year. So this continues that way. You know, year to date, local commercial sales are up 12%. Again, just another thing that is just continues to deliver.
Okay.
Our team sales last month, we had a little bit of a setback. We were flat to last year. But when you look at that, we had a couple of big monster team sales last year that kind of that doesn't make it shine so brightly in May. But year to date, 23% increase in team sales. Again, one of our fastest growing segments year to date, up 23%.
I like when a company says we had a bad month, we were flat. I mean, in today's market, that's pretty damn good. I mean, I'm not trying to lower the bar, but a lot of companies I work with, being flat would be being up.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. So good for them.
And the offset with the 19% lift in local. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, I don't think the salespeople on the call care where it comes from. It could be a team sale, it could be a local. Nobody cares where it comes from because it all pays the same and it's all revenue that the branches can run. So just outstanding. One that really popped off the page when I was going through the numbers last night was the average price. Our average price in May was up 14%. 14% year over year. That's a big deal.
We should have a bell, something that's cool. Ding, ding, ding. That's a good one.
So we could get, I don't know if Amani's on this call or not, but she has got this cowbell she rings when she's in meetings. That might be a bit much.
But by the way, the increase in average price is a big deal.
Yeah.
Now, what do you attribute that to? Either they were better at upselling or we increased price or both?
I would say that you know, we had some of these I guess these rally cries, selling better business. Yeah. We're selling better business. We're selling better business, and we're able to get our price. They're kind of holding firm on their price, and they're getting it. There's a lot of turmoil in the market with Ecolab and the whole Terminex, Rentokil kind of thing going on. So we're able to stick to our guns and get our price, which is just outstanding.
Nice.
You know, year to date, our price is up 10%. You know, year over year. So again, just outstanding stuff. National account revenues that I mentioned were $11 million last month. In May, for the first time ever, broke that $11 million threshold, which is just outstanding. Those are up 14%. National account recurring revenues are up 12%. And again, when you really dial down our national accounts, they're sold in concert with the guys like Dave Henry, right? The national account managers, but it's a lot of these folks on this call that are driving most of that business. 68 to 70%, depending on the month, of our national account sales have the national account manager kind of quarterbacking the deal.
Nice.
But the AMs and the technicians delivering the goods, you know, the boots on the street like I talk about. So,
wow, good numbers.
So just outstanding. And of course, they converted to profit, you know. New boss, 5 months ago, Pat C. Wants to make sure we're making money and keeping me in good stead. So the way these folks delivered, we made a whole bunch of profit. So as Leland Morris says, my 30-day contract got extended for 30 more days. So as long as we keep making money, we'll all be good.
You're only good as your last month.
So at the end, I see Amani on there. Maybe she's going to ring that cowbell. I don't know. But in addition to all of those company-wide performances, we had a whole bunch of folks, Victor, cross over that $75,000 threshold on paid-on business.
Right.
And we might want to go see who those were, huh?
Roll the video.
Victor.
Good numbers, man.
John Fraser at 198,000. What?
I'm disappointed. You know, he got lazy right at the finish line of 200,000. He just got lazy.
Like $1,500.
Yeah, he could have made it. He could have made $200,000. By the way, is there a special bonus about 200,000?
No, there is no special bonus.
I thought we talked about that.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
We scratched that. But 200,000 times 20%.
That's big money.
The dude made 40 grand last month.
Yeah, that's big money. That's
good
money.
He made $40,000 in May.
Yeah. John, call him.
Did I do my math right? Yeah.
Yeah. 40,000.
Yeah. Even I can't screw that
math
up.
No.
40
good numbers on
grand.
there. Gas, Aaron.
Those guys are both from the same branch.
Oh, nice.
They're in the same branch up in North Carolina.
Oh,
it's
wow.
crazy up in
wow.
Up in that area
that's a powerhouse branch right there. And then big shout out to Guillermo Dolente. Or if it's in Spanish, Doyente.
He's butter smooth, man.
Yeah.
He's like the cleanest, smoothest cat.
Is he?
Oh, he got to go.
He's from the West Coast.
He is.
Just want to highlight that.
He's from the West Coast.
Yeah, there you go. So
there's Bruce Scott. Remember the guy that photobombed us last broadcast?
Yeah.
Telling us about the jail and all this.
Yeah.
I don't know if we got to the second one with them, but he photobombed the first broadcast. He made a big sale to a prison. And he was telling us about all the stuff they found when they were doing the cleanouts, like all the shivs.
Some of the pictures he showed was quite disturbing.
Wasn't good. Yeah. Wasn't good.
But
who else you see?
Great numbers on here, man. Bill Beaumonte, Jordan Bosmany. Yeah.
He served up a great question to us in the last broadcast. We may tee that up. Just outstanding. A shout out to Roberto Shorts, right? So this is kind of neat. Roberto made the transition that I think, in my mind, is the most difficult one to make in our industry. He transitioned from residential sales to commercial sales. You see it go the other way. It's a little easier transitioning from commercial to residential. Yeah. But he went from, he's a 9-time President's Club winner in residential sales. And he said, I'm going to give this commercial thing a crack. And I think that's like his third month out.
Wow.
Just amazing performance. He sold like 92,000 and fall in their group me. He's killing it again. I mean, just an amazing transition. He's such a cool guy. He's the guy, if you folks have been to President's Club, he's the guy that gets up with the band every President's Club that he goes to, and he gets up there and plays the guitar. And I mean, this dude just shreds this thing.
Really?
I mean, just rips it. I mean, he plays like 3-4 nights a week. But yeah, that's Roberto making that transition. So
very cool.
Just super cool.
Yeah, maybe he's serenading his clients. Who knows?
I don't know what he's doing. But just go ahead. Cool. You got somebody else?
No. I just want to mention I got some great comments in here, so keep them coming.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned about Sean Wilson, who wants to do Roman candle wars. You got issues, man. You got issues. But yeah, a lot of people are going to have fun. Gordon says something funny here. On the road with Jamie and Spadali, and Spadali is sleeping in the back seat.
That's not nice. That's not nice.
I talked to Gordon. All right.
Outstanding.
So what's our topic today?
Yeah, so these folks, as you know, commercial, we got the residential folks tomorrow. I think a lot of what they have to do, I really break their job down into really two things. You got to get the door open, which is prospecting, right?
Right.
Whatever means, you got a multiple of approaches you got to get the door open.
Yes.
But then eventually when you get the door open, we're not going to focus on inbound leads where they call us, because those are fairly rare in the environment for the commercial account manager. When you work your tail off to get in there, to get through that prospecting door and they let you in, then you've got this deal where you've got to convince them, because they probably 95% of the time they already have somebody else.
Right.
You're not selling them pest control for the first time.
Right.
It's influencing change.
Correct.
And as I thought about that and getting ready for this broadcast, you've got that whole segment, that whole session, like an hour with about 12 videos in the Velocity Academy under the Persuasion tab about influence and change. And I think it's kind of twofold. I think we have to plant seeds of change,
right,
to get the door open, right?
Correct.
But at the end of the day, talk a little bit about influence and change and how that works for these commercial sellers.
Okay. So in the Sales Velocity Academy, which you all have access to, there's a course called Influencing Change. And there's a couple of videos in there. I mean, you don't have to watch the whole thing. And again, they're all like, 3 to 5 minute snippets. But influencing change is about this. Customers don't want to change. Once they've bought from somebody, they don't want to change. It's called status quo bias, right? The bias is towards not changing. So our job is to come in and say, how do we make them change? So we've gotten the meeting already. We're in the one-on-one. How do you move them over? This course, Influencing Change, I strongly suggest you look at it, talks about this, that first of all, when we're talking to a client, the client's wondering, is there, a gain? In other words, are you really better than what I'm already using? So that's the gain piece, right? Are you better? Am I going to gain something? Then the second part of that formula is, well, what's the magnitude of that gain? Well, how much better are you? And where am I going to either make money or save money, right? Now, the third part is you can convince somebody that you're different. You can convince them that the magnitude, the differential is quite substantial, that they really should look at your solution. Even if you've done that, they're going to say, I don't know if I want to change. Because in their mind, the third component is perceived effort. See, perceived effort is, well, how much work is this to change over? The switch over change, the thought of all the things I'd have to do, really holds people back. You can sell them on price, you can sell them on service, guarantees, warranties, but they're still thinking, yeah, but for me to switch from this contractor to Orkin, it's a lot of trouble. And then, well, what does that really entail? And Ed, talk to that a little bit, because you talked earlier about how you phase it out, give them a roadmap.
Let me just back it up just 1 second, just to touch on the prospecting piece of it, right? So you've got the two ways to approach change, right? You can hit them with gain or pain, right?
Correct.
And I think when you're prospecting, you've got to really serve up gain, because you don't know the pain yet, right?
Correct.
They haven't experienced the pain, so much so that they're going to call you. So if you remember about these prospects you're trying to get in front of, they're not calling you. So if you picked up the phone 100 times and dialed 100 clients, more than likely you would hear 99% of the time, I already have somebody and I'm happy.
Correct.
Click, boom, gone, right? So you've got to tease up some gain to get that audience to then get in, kick the tires, do the inspection, and find some pain. And I think sometimes, particularly with some new service offerings that we have, that could be the entry point, and that could be the something that says, I don't have that.
Right.
I've heard about that, but I'd like, tell me more. And that opens the door, so then you can get in and do the inspection. I think about the electronic monitoring stations, number one, right? We've got them. We're out there messing around with them. We've got national clients looking for them. We've probably got 20 of these things in place. We've got some point of sale. So if you're trying to get entry into a new customer, right? You're trying to put some gain out there. Why wouldn't you say, what I would love to do, Mr. Customer, I'd like to spend 15 minutes with you, introducing you to electronic rodent monitoring. It's becoming all the rage these days.
Right.
And that's something that they may not have heard before, from the 10 other pest control schleppers that are trying to get an audience with them. So I think that's the kind of stuff. Some of these new scent services. We're going to do the scent service relaunch again on Thursday, the broadcast. And again, some of the feedback from the RSM meeting was, and I agree with it, was that the marketing launches that we've done with the fly control, the scent services, and the mosquito have really not had enough meat and potatoes into the selling pieces of it. But when you go back and you look back and you consider that, we have almost 120 new account managers that weren't here as recent as 9 months ago. So just think about it that way, but trying to find that kind of stuff. But when you get this scent service broadcast, get yourself knowledgeable enough. There's all kinds of point of sale to tease them with them.
When you say there wasn't enough meat and potatoes, what do you mean by that?
Well, there wasn't enough sales stuff, right? There wasn't real sales tactical stuff. I mean, they had it all set up to email.
collateral strategy.
The collaterals were all there. The pieces, support pieces were there, but nobody really talked to the selling of it, right?
Gotcha.
And I guess that's what we would ask the folks here. These folks know how to better sell it than anybody in marketing. So you just figure out how you're selling the other stuff and try to blend these new services in. But I think that's one thing. But yeah, getting back to the...
I like what you're saying, though, that by introducing, whether it's the scent product or the electronic monitoring, it's a new mix. It's something that makes them go, we don't have that. And at least grabs their attention. That could be part of the why we're different on the magnitude side.
Finding something different to mention that they're not hearing. Right. You know? I mean, if you say, I'd like to come in and evaluate your pest control, blah, 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 all that crap that sometimes get taught. I'd like to give you a second opinion, all that kind of stuff. I don't know that we're that successful with that, but if you tease up something new, and are we going to put electronic monitoring stations out? Not until the whole world catches on to it. Right. But we've got enough point of sale stuff. We've got enough scent service stuff that we could tease it. All you want to do is get a conversation. Yeah. So
Ed, how would you handle this? So, because we touched on it a little bit in the previous broadcast, but maybe we can go deeper. Remember when you talked about, so we've got mentioning the new products, right? The monitoring. And then they're kind of going, okay, I see the gain, I see the magnitude, but the last part, the perceived effort piece, I got to switch over. Like, how do you talked about rolling out or giving them a rollout plan? Yeah,
the perceived effort piece. So let's say you get past all those hurdles that are in front of you to get an audience, right? Right. You get the audience, you get in there, you get to do the inspection, you do your discovery questions, you get in there, you do the inspection, you're going to find some pain. Right. Even if you're here for a week, you're going to find some pain. Right. You're going to find some stuff to talk to them about that you can figure out how to disturb them, right? And I think that's part of it. But after you do all that, you want to get them so uneasy or so kind of angry with who they have already that they want to try something else. So you serve up your options. But when you get down to the end, they may be saying, he's let me down, he is letting me down. But at the end of the day, I think that one that grabs us all the time is that one that kind of just sits in the background where they say, they're nodding their head the whole time. They're like the little dog in the window, right? You're right. They do stink. Right. But at the end of the day, when you ask for the business, they say, well, let me think about it, or let me do this, or let me do that. Not ready to make a move.
There's that perceived effort, right?
Yeah, they're thinking, oh my gosh, I got to change a new pest control. I've had the same guy or the same gal walking through this place for 5 years. And obviously now I understand that maybe they're not doing what they should be doing, as the Orkin guy told me, or the Orkin Pro told me. So now I've got this thing, so it makes sense. Yeah. Is it enough that I'm willing to put in the effort, the personal effort, the reputation of me putting my name on the line, saying I'm gonna change pest control company's boss, kind of putting that out there to where you kind of diffuse that. And I think that's where we get into. I think it's almost as important to talk about how you're going to transition the account.
Right, that's what I'm talking.
New than you are for all the other processes.
And what I like about what you're saying there is that when you talk about transitioning, how the transition is going to work, here are the phases. It's almost like a presumptive close. Yeah. If you think about it, because that's kind of saying, hey, we already won the deal. Yeah. In your head, at least, you're hoping they're going to agree with you that here's how it would work as we roll this out.
Absolutely, and all the national account proposals that we get in and go do. The customers ask for it. What's the rollout procedure? How will you guys handle this if we give you the business? So they almost tell us to do this.
That's a buying signal right there.
Well, but sometimes it's even part of the RFPs, the request for proposals. But what I would suggest to you, even though we do them on national accounts, have your rollout plan in place that you can share with that customer immediately. Here's how we're going to do this. Folks are obviously averse to change. Nobody wants to change. Who stole my cheese? Who did this? Who did that? They're averse to that. So why not have locked and loaded your personal rollout on how you're going to transition this business?
So I love this topic because when you're thinking about a rollout plan and you submit it, for example, for a bid or a proposal, right? You can actually, and I'm asking, I don't know. I want you to tell me, if I design my rollout plan in a very unique way, with certain checkpoints, I could differentiate myself just with my rollout plan.
If you're doing a personal one on your own, right? So if I'm selling a local piece of business, I'm going to tell them exactly what's going to happen. Once you folks agree, we make this agreement, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to handle the scheduling of the service. I'm going to get with the service managers. I'm going to call you back. I'm going to tell you when it's going to happen. That day that service is done, there's a really good likelihood, Victor, I'm going to be here to introduce you to the technician. If it's a big enough account, you should be. And then you take it from there. Once that service is done, I'm going to check back with you in a week. Okay. Not the 60 days that Orkin says we got to go back and do a follow-up, the 60-day inspection. Right. More frequent than that, walking them through it, helping them through it. At the end, 45 days in, you will probably had your first regular service at that point in time. that'll be another point of touch that'll come in. I'm going to take this on. I'm going to be your personal, your person. I'm going to be responsible for the account.
Valet.
And just walk them through it. And basically just, not that you would say, I'll hold your hand through it. Maybe you say that. I'll hold your hand through this process. We know change is difficult. Here's how easy I make it.
Right.
Here's how easy we make it.
Correct.
And I think that helps beat that down, because that's one they're not going to say a lot, because you've just served up this whole solution. Right. You've stuck knives into their current program, right? I mean, they can't defend it.
Right.
You've done everything right. You've carried yourself the right way. You've demonstrated with your biz suite, what work. I mean, you've just wowed them, right? It's hard for them to say no. So when that thing's sitting in the back of their mind, they're not going to come out and say, Victor, everything's cool, but they're not going to say, I'm just a little uneasy in making this change. Right. It's too much work.
Right.
It's too much work.
I like what you highlighted also, that it's their name on the change.
Yeah.
And that's big. We don't consider that, but that's usually huge. Oh, switching over, that's a big decision.
Yeah, you get involved in these gold medal accounts with these QA managers.
Yep.
It's their name, it's their reputation. Yeah. Heck, it probably is their bonus.
Right.
There's probably some piece of their bonus that's tied to it.
What's incorporated in some of the presentations today on how people do it? Like, what are some of the things you've seen how people do it?
I mean, just it depends on the account. And I don't know if we'll get that specific with it here, but just laying it out. Walking them through it. Right. Here's what you can expect to happen. Here's going to be a 7-day follow-up. Here's going to be a week follow-up.
I guess I'm asking, in that process, there's always that one thing. You've got to make sure you do that, because that always...
I believe it's... And we're going to talk about it tomorrow in the residential broadcast. It's going back. It's coming back. Okay. It's just not making that hit and running.
Gotcha.
Making that hit and running.
Probably shortening the time.
Absolutely.
At the front end. When you come back.
This whole thing with 60-day follow-ups, the company is kind of quasi-mandated that they go do. I think that's way too late in the process.
Well, how would you do it? If you were to do how many days, how would you roll it out?
I'm there the day it happens.
Okay.
If it's a start over $2,000, $2,500, a good sizable start.
Sure.
You think about it, most folks are, they're averaging $30,000, $35,000. You can get to those. And if you can't get to them that day, you can certainly get to them very quickly.
Sure.
Very quickly.
Gotcha.
So I think that's important.
Very cool.
I think we need to talk about this one question that came up last broadcast, because it came from Jordan.
It was good.
It came from Jordan Bosman. Jordan, if you don't know him, you've seen his name all over the highlight sheets. He's on that one today. He was the #1 commercial salesman in the company last week. And his question, I just kind of gathered some notes. Jordan posted right in the chat. He said, Victor, help me handle this. Customers doing the head shake. They're digging it. They're digging it. They're digging it. But at the end of the day, they say to him, Victor, I'm going to give the current vendor another 30 days to fix it.
Right.
So they've got to that point. You've showed them that stuff's broken. Yep. And they say, and you're going to talk about writing an article about it tonight. Yep. But this happens all the time to our commercial sellers.
Right.
I'm going to give them 30 days to change. And Vic, and he has, so share yours first, and then I'll share a couple.
I mean,
and if you've got, what would you say? Put that in the chat.
Yeah, we should ask you. What would you put? What would you put if the customer says, I want to give them one more chance?
I'm going to give one more chance.
And I have to be honest, right? Transparent is like, I've never been in that situation. Yeah. So I was kind of like, how would I handle it? So I told Ed I would write an article around different scripts I would use.
And he's all excited about it, too.
Oh, I'm super excited, because like I said, it's a new objection I never thought of. Yeah. And so I'll probably add it to my Client Says series. But for me, I would remind them of going forward, they now have to be the QA manager. In other words, they got to go check on the person's work. Yeah. And I said, you don't want to do that. If they didn't do it before, you noticed it, that means it could happen again. That means it's on you. You actually had a better one than me.
Well, I don't know if it was better, but I'm going to tie it back into last month's broadcast in the movie Air.
Yep.
Where Vaccaro just simply bluntly, very, very upfront and forward.
Okay, let's frame that again.
Yeah, frame it up a little
bit. So again, remember the last month's broadcast was the movie Air about Michael Jordan, and then it was Sonny Vaccaro, the guy that actually sold the deal, was talking to Michael Jordan's mother.
Right.
And
he simply told her, "You're making a mistake."
That's a heavy line, man.
I understand that.
That's a heavy line.
I get that you want to give that new company another 30 days, or the current company another 30 days, but you're making a mistake. And just having kind of the chutzpah to say that, rather than try to dance around it and then give them reasons why.
That's the key right there. You give them reasons why. By the way, what I've also loved is when he delivers a line, it's the tone in his voice that gives it the depth to say, you really need to think about this. Yeah. You're making a mistake.
And even if it's the nonverbal kind of...
Yeah.
Victor, if you do that, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what I lean into is the phone. I'll pull my phone up and I'll say, you know what? These days, you can't afford to make a mistake. Obviously, this has kind of gone unchecked. You didn't know about it. You didn't know what was going on. You could use that line. Are you going to continue to check the work for the next 30 days?
That's it.
And I always tie in Chipotle when I get that question too. The reason that we got a lot of Chipotle business is they absolutely went viral on YouTube and Facebook with their location in Dallas, where today everybody is a videographer.
Yep.
And you want to risk putting yourself in that situation and putting your company at risk. So I think you've got to hit that hard. And I don't know if we got anything in the chat.
By the way, we'll call that the reputation approach.
Yeah.
Like this could damage your reputation.
Yeah.
And then the other one is and we'll call it the quality manager approach. You don't want to be monitoring his work. Yeah. Nobody wants to be checking people's work.
Yeah.
So if there's a way of tying that, you don't want to be checking their work all the time. That's not what we do.
Amen.
So tie those two things.
And again, you get in there and you simply say, you're making a mistake. They're going to continue to let you down. What's going to change? Yeah, they may send the cavalry out here. They may give you a lot of attention.
Yeah.
They may send 4 or 5 people out there, to put this fire down and knock this down and clean these rodents up. But at the end of the day, how comfortable are you going to be that they're going to not fall back on that lower level of service?
Yeah.
Where if you went with us and we can get this deal done, here's what I would make you the promise of. Yeah, Victor, if you're not completely satisfied with the service and the results that service renders in 30 days, we'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
We'll give you your money back. And spinning it that way, right? So, you really want to tee it up that they don't deserve it. Yeah. They haven't earned it.
Yes.
Yeah. You're making a mistake. They haven't earned those 30 days. Give me those 30 days.
Yeah. I love that.
We'll show up. We'll clean it up.
I'm thinking in my head, what's that saying where it goes, it's one of those, my mama once told me, if they did it once, that was the toughest one.
Yeah.
Doing it twice, it's even easier.
Did we get anybody putting anything in the chat?
Nope.
Nobody wants to play with that one?
We have no brave people out there.
What do you say?
We had no customers. Adam, let's see what Adam's got. Customer.
This is good. Another star.
Okay. Why don't you read that one if you want?
Customer, you have proven that your customer has not been doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's the reason to get after it, to get it right now.
Okay. I kind of like it's a good start, Adam. Put some flavor on that thing. Come on, just a little picante or something. And let me see who's out there. Michelle Stockstad?
Yeah, region manager, Colorado.
God, that's a tongue twister right there. Say that 10 times. Michelle Stockstad. Did I say that right? Michelle Stockstad?
Yeah.
I did get that right. All right.
What's she saying?
So, Michelle doesn't want to participate. Apparently, she doesn't care about this.
That's not fair.
All right. So anyway,
so framing that up that way, right?
Yep.
When you get to there, but at the end of the day, I have grown very much in favor of you're making a mistake. You're making a mistake. Give me those 30 days to show you what we can do. Give it to us. Don't give
Joseph.
it to me.
Joseph Henderson is going for it.
Is he?
It's like going to get your car fixed and they don't fix the issues. Would you continue to go back to that place?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, Joseph.
Anybody else? Come on, somebody else jump in there. These are way better when you all give names.
By the way, Brian Sellers confirms. I like that. You're making a mistake.
Amen.
And Mark is actually encourring Michelle to come after me for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, you called her out.
Why has it got to get so violent, though? I mean, it's just like, we're just having a conversation here. So.
I think that's primarily what we're trying to get at, right? Yeah. And just being ready when that comes. But again,
it does.
It's gain in the beginning, and then it's pain. Because folks will what?
What's that?
They will run quicker away from pain than they will to gain, right? If you think about that. They're going to run away from pain.
Absolutely.
They might not. And
by the way, again, let's repeat that. The pain is they want to stay in the status quo. To them, changing is painful, and that part of the brain just lights up and goes, let's not do it now. And then you rightly pointed out, their reputation is also on the line if they make that decision to switch.
Yeah. And again, it's that perceived, I got to introduce this guy to this, I got to introduce this new girl to this.
Yeah.
They know everybody likes Bill, everybody likes Susie.
That's it.
Even though Susie's letting us down.
Yeah.
Even though Susie's letting us down, and the Orkin Pro just told me that they were, right? So it's a complicated mess that we commercial sellers live in.
This is a tough one. Let me see.
Triple guarantee, there you go.
Yeah, R. Kelly, is that a risk you really want to take?
John,
man, by the way, that simple line right there, is that a risk after you say you're making a mistake, and is that a risk you really want to take? That's kind of short and sweet. I like the pithiness of it.
Pinning it down.
Steven Genther, you're looking too serious, man. Like Rodin's thinker, man. You're just thinking, but not giving us anything. Thank you very much. You're not really helping us out.
Robert Barr with some good feedback.
Amani, you got 2 people there. No feedback here. Shame on both of you right there. So.
Yeah, and I think Robert's note in here, I think, is important. So, let's face it. We screw some stuff up sometimes, right? We don't do things right. So when we get that call. We got one on national accounts that Mike Lysis and I just met on, right?
Yeah.
So when we screw it up, when we've let that customer down, man, we rush in with the cavalry, Victor.
Yeah.
I mean, we bring the highest folks in the food chain to the place to get it fixed. We pull in QA folks, we get it fixed.
Yeah.
Because we tend to, and you think about it, given the customer ask or telling us that they want to give somebody 30 days or a second chance, it's human nature.
It is.
It's human nature. You've got to understand that it's okay.
Yeah, but sometimes we're like cowards, right?
Yeah.
We're like cowards. We want to give somebody a second chance, not because we really want to give them a second chance, because we don't want to do the work to find some or switch over.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really interesting.
They feel right. I've had them for 5 years. They slipped up this time. Let me see if I can fix it.
Yeah.
You got to plow through that, and you got to hammer that home.
Let me see. Cedric's got some here that's got 3 hearts on it, so I got to read it.
Another goat.
You're paying X to have these issues. How much would you pay not to have these issues? All right?
Amen.
Do you really want to, oh my God.
I love this.
Alan's work iPhone. Do you really want to continue to pay for mediocrity? Dude, that is brutal.
Michelle came strong. She came strong.
I'm bleeding on this one.
Michelle came strong.
Read this one. Well, I don't want to read. I'm scared.
Read it. I'll read it.
You read it.
They haven't valued your business to this point. You're making a mistake, Victor. They haven't valued your business to this point. These chats are coming so fast. Are you confident 30 days will be the difference maker? We can impact this situation.
Drop that microphone.
Drop the phone. Drop the mic.
I'm done. Michelle just said, enough of this. I'm not putting up with Victor.
She brought it
Here,
strong.
You want some? Damn. Toma.
Awesome.
Michelle.
We can just let this thing go on with these posts.
Yeah.
I knew she had it.
By the way, that is only, it's like brutally classy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be nice to Michelle. I'm just saying that's brutally classy.
And you sit there and that just sneaks up on him, right? And that guy just called my baby ugly.
Yeah, but the power, what I love about that one is that I always believe you control a conversation with questions, right? Or the thought process, right? And when she asks that, the first part is a statement. Mm-hmm. But the question, are you confident 30 days, she's pushing them into the future, will be the difference maker.
How about that?
That's brutal, man.
They've had 5 years. I think these folks just in this.
I'm giving it to Michelle. I don't care. I'm giving it to Michelle.
These folks in this chat just wrote your entire article.
Yeah, they wrote my article. I want to copy this. I'll be like using Michelle stuff. I use Cedric stuff. I'm like, they're gonna say Victor is a genius. Oh my God, this guy's a genius.
That's how he does all this stuff.
Well done, though, man. That's a no joke, Michelle. That's
strong.
That's strong. That's a bell ringer. Bang.
Awesome.
That's nice.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, we've got a lot of them.
I got just a couple housekeeping things, and then we'll wrap this thing up. A great session, by the way. I really appreciate the feedback. So, housekeeping. Practicing your pitch, right? We're talking about the new fly services. We're talking about the mosquito services. We're talking about all these marketing campaigns where, we come to the realization there wasn't a whole lot of sales stuff in there.
Right.
But have you designed and practiced a pitch for those yet?
Right.
And your adage all the time. I love it. Practicing with your
practicing with clients. On your clients.
Yeah, is like a sin. Is like a sin. So as you get through these things, you start working through the scent services. You got enough groups of folks around you. Practice it. Yep. Even if you got to pitch your spouse, your significant other. You got to pitch it to the dog. You got to record it. Whatever you got to do. Fine tune these pitches on these new services, right? Become an expert at them. Take in this training to be a subject matter expert, and then figure out, you guys are better at selling this stuff than anybody in marketing, and rather than me and Victor telling you how to do it. Craft your pitch, right? So that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, I creep on a lot of group meetings, you know that, and there were a couple in particular, commercial dedicated group meetings the last couple of days, really significant yesterday, where I saw so many technicians and salespeople splitting sales. I mean, just like exploding.
Really?
Splitting a $5,000 sale, splitting this, splitting that. So as I read that, I'm thinking, you know what? This time of year, the techs are busy as all get out. We're chasing extra services down. The business is flowing in. Our commercial techs are running and gunning, blowing and going.
Right.
They're doing outside services. They're doing all these kind of things. They're so busy. What if you jumped in the truck with them? If you jumped in the truck with them a day a month, you found some time between now and the middle of July to jump in the truck with one of your commercial technicians and just talk to him, I would be willing to bet that he or she would have 3 or 4 things that they haven't been able to get to. Hey, Victor, ABC company over there, they need fly lights. I just haven't had time to get to them. I'll go run that for you. I'll go run that for you. So you get that and splitting those sales. I think that's just crazy impactful.
Man, this group was more active than our last one.
They were. I certainly appreciate all the leadership support from the West Coast. I mean,
and
seems like every manager's
you're always
out there.
harping on the West Coast.
No, you harp on them on the termite side.
I love the West Coast.
Stop that. We'll see how you do tomorrow. Because Rory's in the top 100K club, so you'll have to be nice to him. All right, I think that's all we've got other than hydrate. Spend some time with your tech. They're making all these commissions, right? Yeah. Our average commercial account manager makes over $90,000 a year now. Sweet. What if you bought a Subway sandwich with that tech you rode with one day? Yeah. You don't have to spend all day with them.
Love your tech.
Love your tech.
We should get a shirt that says love your tech.
That's an idea. Maybe somebody will show up with Love Your Tech shirts next week or next time. That's all we've got for today. I wish you all a happy and safe 4th of July. Enjoy yourselves, and
we'll see you next month.
We'll see you next month.